All right, welcome back. So before we went on the break, we were talking about some of the reasons why most people considered or are considering freelancing. And but like I said, one of the things we want to encourage you to do is to make sure that you have your own personal reason, that you're able to sit down, take a pen and a paper, think about your reality, think about the skills that you have, think about some things that can convince you that freelancing is for you or not for you. So, like I said, no matter how beautiful an idea is, no matter how beautiful a profession is, it definitely will not be for everyone. But the fact that you took interest when you saw this post, it means that there's something about you that is convincing you that you might want to consider freelancing. But after the whole session, it will be clear to you as to whether or not it is something that you want to venture into. So let's go on now to look at what you should do or how you should decide on whether you want to go into or you want to freelance. So deciding to freelance can be life changing, right? It's a beautiful decision, okay? But it comes with certain consequences and it comes with challenges too. And like I said yesterday in our first day one session, that there are some misconceptions about freelancing. Some people think that if you are freelancing, you're going to get free money. If you're freelancing, you're going to have all the time in the world. If you are freelancing, so many things are going to look all beautiful and rosy. Sometimes freelancing can be more tasking. It can be more daunting. It can be more, how do I say, time consuming. It might require so much more from you than a full-time employment. There are times when you will get jobs. There are times when you're going to get engagements that you might not even have time to take your bath the whole day. There are times when for 3 days, you will not see the sun because you are trying to deliver on a client's job. But of course, when you get paid, there are times when you can take a break. There are times when you can decide not to work because the earning that you have is enough to see you through, is enough to sustain you for a period of time that you decide not to work. And sometimes also, if you're not able to get jobs back to back or consistently, what you probably would have earned the previous weeks or the previous months can sustain you until the next job comes. So, but again, like I said, it's a good idea to sit down and compare the pros and the cons of freelancing to see if the path is truly for you. Because some people cannot do without the everyday or the every month salary syndrome. I call it a salary syndrome because I've never been a salary person. And of course, every day you hear most of the motivational speakers talking about how you can never be rich with a salary. You can never have enough if you're waiting for your paymaster to hand you down 200,000, 150,000, 500,000, or even 30,000, right? So you have to sometimes, if you're somebody who think you have the grace, you have the skill, you have the talent, you have the stamina, you have the discipline to go solo and to be independent and to ask life for more, then you might want to begin to think about how you can consider, wanting to go freelance. So let's look. I think we did actually look at some of the challenges and some of the downsides of freelancing in our day one class. I think you can also make reference to it. You'll find the link somewhere in the WhatsApp group. You want to make reference to some of the downsides so that you can also be acquainted with the fact that it is not all rosy and it's all not sweet. But there are a few questions that I expect for you to ask yourself. You want to ask yourself, what kind of person are you? Are you someone who can get things done within a considerable period of time? I beg your pardon. Do you think that if they give you a task to deliver and they give you a timeline and they say by this sort of time, we expect you to have delivered this job based on your skill, your expertise, your capacity, your gift or talent. So if you're that kind of person who you can work within a certain period of timeline, you can deliver on a certain task within a considerable period of time, it looks like there's some points going in, to your advantage. If you're also a skilled person, maybe you have a writing skill, you have a speaking skill, you have an administrative skill. Okay, I'll add you to the WhatsApp group. Or you have a digital skill, or you have an artistic skill, or you have some consulting. If there has to be something that you're offering, because of course you know that people will only pay for the value that you deliver. People will only pay for the problems that you solve. So if you have a particular skill, for me, originally, the skill that I have was first a gift. And that's why I always, every time I'm presenting stuff or teaching about freelancing, sometimes it might not even necessarily be a skill. It can be a gift. For me, my gift was that I knew that I could communicate clearly. I knew I could teach. I knew I could talk to someone and convince them to buy stuff. I knew that communication was a thing for me. And I knew that since I was a teenager, or even earlier than that. I used to be in the drama team. I used to be in the press club. I used to read news on the assembly and people would scream, So I knew that from the beginning. In fact, some of the skills and the gift that I had, or gift particularly, I think that I didn't even put them to use, because I remember those days, even in secondary school, when I used to do acting or acting drama, I would make some people cry by my acting in those days. But I didn't harness those areas. I focused on the areas, or at least I tried to build the areas that I had the capacity to build. So when I talk about freelancing and I talk about skill, some of you, it might not necessarily be skill. Of course, it can be first a gift, and then you have to skill it up, or you have to advance it, because of course, the fact that I knew I could communicate, I knew I needed to go to school. I knew I needed to study law, for example. I had really wanted to study law, but I couldn't. And the next closest thing was to study something around communication, and I did. So as much as you have a gift or you have a talent, you can harness it by skilling up or by getting some education or getting some training, and stuff. So sit yourself down. There must be something that people say you do well. There must be something that you are convinced that you do well. And from there, you can begin to consider to build them up, or at least put them to use. Then beyond the skill or the gift or the talent, you have to be someone who is determined. You have to be someone who's strong-willed. You have to be someone who's persistent, who's resilient, someone who's passionate, someone who can actually get things done for people, someone who can actually solve problems, basically, because the world of entrepreneurship or freelancing, or the world generally, is just filled with problems begging for solutions. So if you find solution in any of the billions and millions of the many problems flying, then you are good. That's basically, if you forget anything here today, just know that whatever your gift is, whatever your skill is, whatever your talent is, must be able to respond to a particular problem, because a problem identified in our society has many people who has it. If you identify one problem for one person, you will find out that there are many other millions of people who have that same problem. And if you continue to replicate the solution that you've provided for one person to another, that way you're already good. It means that you've provided a solution, you're an entrepreneur, you can build it from there. So you have to be that person who provides solution. You have to be independent in your thinking. You have to be entrepreneurial in your thinking, in your mindset. So these are some of the things that you should ask yourself to find out if you have. If some of the answers to these questions are positive, then it means you're getting clarity as to whether the world of freelancing is for you. Now, some important qualities that are also required to be able to help you become a freelancer, sometimes also, like I said, beyond your original skill and gift and some of the personal characteristics, you must also find ways to develop those talents, or get training, or get mentorship, or get support, or just get something that makes that solution something that people are willing to buy. Okay, so do some self-evaluation, do some self-analysis. Okay, ask yourself some very important questions. Be sure that your personality fits what is required for freelancing. If you are sure you have done all of these analysis and you think that you are good, then you might want to consider, like I said earlier, getting some training. So check to see if you will need more training in the area of your skill and in personal development before going into freelancing full-time. But again, you can choose to do freelancing part-time. So for some of you who might be here, who might not necessarily be unemployed, you have a daytime job, you go to work in the morning and you close in the evening, but you know you're not happy, or you know you're not content, or you know you want more, you can actually continue doing your job and consider freelancing on a part-time basis. And when you now get clarity and you know that the thing that you're doing with your freelancing journey or your freelancing career makes more sense, is more fulfilling, is more financially viable, then you can gradually now quit your full-time job. But if you are like my friends, which are the ones that are more interested in, you don't have a job at all, then you might want to do whatever it is you can't do to harness that skill or to learn a skill, okay, or to harness that gift or talent and see how you can begin to service the people who actually need it. But overall, be clear on your why, okay? Be clear on the main motivation behind your choosing to go freelance, because that reason will be the one thing that will keep you going. If for whatever reason you face challenges, which you will, because like I said, like any other profession, you must face some challenges. That why, that main reason, it could be that, oh, I'm already unemployed, so this thing has to work, because if it does not work, I have nothing else that I'm falling back to. It might be that your salary is small. You need a side income. You have children, or you have your parents to look after, or you have something, you know that you need to do something else that can bring some more resources on the table to solve the many problems that are available. That can also be your why. It may be that, just like me, you knew that being under a boss or serving a boss is not your thing. Now, it is not, it has nothing to do with not wanting to be led or not wanting to be a follower. It just has something to do with your personality and who you were created to be. Not everybody is created to be an employee, right? Some people already knew they have an instinct of being an entrepreneur from the very beginning. It's just that they do not have the wherewithal, or they do not have the resources. So if you're like me, who has always wanted to be independent, then this is calling really hard. Okay, if you have a skill, a gift, or a talent that you want to commercialize, freelancing is for you. Then if you're somebody, like I said, who's just fed up or tired of the 9 to 5, you just don't want that rat race anymore, it's depressing. Some of you come back home from work, you are messed up in your mind, your mental health is telling, you know that this is not something that you want to do. Freelancing is obviously probably going to be the next alternative solution. So all of these questions above, like I had mentioned, all of them are worthy of answers, okay? Before diving fully into the world of freelancing, again, freelancing is an appealing career choice. It is very interesting, but it is essential, like I said, to note, like all jobs or like all other, pathway to work, okay? It requires hard work, it requires dedication and commitment, right? So freelancers, like every other people, like entrepreneurs, like employees or everyone, they have their own challenges too, okay? So by having clarity about you, about your personality, and understanding the realities of freelancing, individuals, you and I, can make informed decisions to thrive in this dynamic field. So do well to take some time in retrospect to really sit down, do your research, do some findings, ask yourself some important questions, and decide if freelancing for you. If it is for you, then you want to continue in the line that we're guiding you. If you need to learn some skill after this 10-day session, you want to find a skill that you can learn, especially a digital skill, because again, it depends on what sort of skill that you already have, because there are some skills, some services that you're going to be offering that you cannot offer from wherever you are, in case you crave for that level of independence. So digital skill is the way to go. You can learn any of the digital skills that we're putting out there. We're doing the little that we can in the areas where we can, from data entry to graphics to web design to video editing to project management to virtual assistant to travel consulting. We have quite a number of them we've listed. I think we listed them all out on day one, and we will continue to showcase all of that. You can choose any one of them. But if you already have your own thing that you're doing, you need to continue to research to find out how you can make whatever you already have or whatever you already are doing. Because even the Bible says, I know that some of us here are Christians, it says, what is in your hand? There's nobody on the surface of the earth who was brought in here without a skill without a gift or a talent. And it starts from there. Even before you want to learn a skill, the skill has to align with the gift and the talents or the innate desires that you have. You don't want to do anything because everybody else is doing it. You don't want to just get into a trend because whatever you choose to do, even amidst the list of the skill that we're offering, you have to choose the one that definitely aligns well with your personality. So that when you do it, like they say, if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. So if you choose to do that thing and you offer that service to people who need them, it does not feel like work. It feels like you're having fun, but yet, you you are working and earning a living doing exactly what it is you like. So this is basically the end of my presentation. I will give you the opportunity to ask questions. This session is for, I think, about 10 days, but of course it will span through 20th because we're taking a break in between. We take a break from, we do one day and we take a break to do the quiz and like that. So tomorrow is going to be quiz. And on Friday, we're going to have the 3, I think. And then we're going to go on like that. But like I said, this particular 10 days is just basically the theoretical aspect of things. As we speak now, there is a particular class going on for data entry. And from 1st of October, there's going to be another class for graphic design and then web design, like that. So we are basically spurring a movement of freelancers, of skilled entrepreneurs and people, especially on the digital space. So you can leverage on the internet and offer this service with limitless or boundless possibilities. So you can offer this, whatever service that you offer, so long as it's good to anyone in South Africa, anyone in America, anyone. Data entry skills can be provided for anyone, anywhere in the world, right? Virtual assistant skill can be provided for anyone. So we want to be able to have you have these things. And like I said, for some of you who still want to have the salary thing, you can still have it, but having a side income on the side whilst you're also doing your full-time work is not going to be a crime. And as you continue to do it and get equipped and get better at it, you can decide to slide, easily your full-time job and focus on it. And that way you can be sure of, predicting your income and choosing how much you earn and not having anybody, place a ceiling on that, based on your capacity and how much you're willing to come into it. So this is the end of my presentation. I see somebody's already asking a question if they can get a slide. Okay, I'll share it. But if you have any questions, please just indicate by show of hand. I can let you speak. If you're shy to speak, you want to drop a comment in the chat, I will see it and I'd like to be added to the WhatsApp group. I will do that. Please make the slides start afresh. I need to screenshot some of the areas that I miss. Okay, that's fine. I'll do that. But I can share the slide. It's fine. I can convert it into a PDF and send it in. Even though I don't like to share my slides most of the time because sometimes some things might change. And I don't want to be quoted out there to say I said this at the time I said it, when in actual fact, things would have changed. So I will try to slide it whilst people are asking the questions gradually so you can screenshot if you want. Godson, I think he's the one who said, how do we learn the skills mentioned? Yeah, like I said, after the 10 days of the freelance training for beginners opportunity, even as I speak to you, there are some people who are doing this training right now who are also doing the data entry skill. So you can be taking this class because the time for the data entry is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and I'm talking about those who might be interested. But again, the class for the data entry has closed, but there is a new batch on the 1st of September, on the 1st of October. So we actually do the class in such a way that you can still be doing this theoretical aspect of things and getting clarity about what you want to do. And when you acquire that skill, so you can know how to organize your business or organize your service in a way that says that you're a professional, you know exactly what you're doing, right? So as we speak now, there's no other skill class to be enrolled for until 1st October. So the 1st October, there will be a graphic design class and there will be a new data entry class as well. So you can enroll for that. All our trainings are free, but we take a little token for certification. And the reason for that is just so we can sustain the program. We can, give something to the facilitator. Some of the facilitators who are organizing or providing this skill training, some of them charge as high as 200,000 for their classes. Some of them charge as high as 150,000. So if we had an understanding with them to be able to get you all to come and partake in this training and you're paying nothing but just a little token for certification, you should commend us for that on one side. But even most importantly, even if we have the resources to do it for free, some of the students, for example, in this class, you can tell in the WhatsApp group, we're 1,000 of us, right? If not more, but we have less than 30 or about 30 of us here. So we want to make sure that we're preparing the resource persons to be available for the number of people who can show some level of commitment. So when they pay that small token for certification, it confirms to us that these are the people who really do need this skill and they will take action and they will be available for the class. So we don't want to make provision for example, the data entry class guys, the people who registered were almost about 400, but the people taking the class right now are less than 60. So we want to prepare for 60. We don't want to prepare for 400 when in actual fact, when we're having the class, only 60 of the people will show up. So the request for paying for certification in advance is because we want to ensure that we are preparing only for the serious people, because we live in a society where people say, I want to, but they are not able to back their words up or their intentions up with action, basically. So that's why we asked for that. So yeah, the project management too, I'm not sure when it will happen, maybe November, but I think between October and November. In fact, we just started to prepare the publicity materials for the project management, and there is a virtual assistant also. I think all that will start. We're just doing these things gradually. We just began this movement, so we're not rushing. We're taking our time to make sure we're preparing well for it, and people will actually get the needed value, basically. So project management will happen maybe in November. We have to get a number of people in the class before. So we're promoting them one after the other. And some of you here, please help us share our stuff, because as many people we get to enroll for this training, it will make the resource persons more committed and more excited to train. So whenever we ask you to help us share, we send a broadcast, please don't think that we're bothering you. We just want to spread the word. And somehow, as you help us share and many people get to know about what we're doing here, maybe the possibility to get sponsors and support to make things a lot easier for both the beneficiaries and us who are facilitating, will make it easy. So please help us be a part of the community. Drop comments on my Facebook page, drop comments on the Push Africa Facebook page, engage with us. As you leave this session today, just go to my Facebook page, drop a comment. If you think you like what you're hearing here, or you think that what we're doing here is adding some value, just say so. If you think we're wasting time, also, I don't mind the negative comment. If the negative comments will also help us be better, because again, as I speak to you, what we're doing here is a lot better than what we did in the first batch. And what we might be doing in the third batch will be better than what we're doing in the second batch, because that's how life is, right? Every day you keep getting better and getting better until, we get there. So please support us, share with your friends, tell them about what we're doing. You never know how this gets somewhere, and we can all get the support that we need, and, the community grows. Join our Facebook group, share your businesses there. If you have something you're selling, our Facebook group has over 1,200 right now. Post your stuff. Tell us about the business you're currently doing, that is helping you to survive in the meantime. It's allowed for us to do that, okay? So if you have any questions, any other concerns, please drop it in the comment, or you can just show. I can't see any hand. If there's anybody who wants to say something, just indicate by show of hand. I can let you say a thing or two. We can take a few comments, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, and then we can close. So if you want to say something, I think one of the things we also will have to teach, especially in our virtual assistant class, is to teach you how to use some of these platforms, some of these meeting, several other things actually that are available for use in the workplace, so that you can know how to engage and utilize them, to your advantage. Some people don't even know how to raise hands on Zoom. I know that some people do not know. So, but if you know how to raise your hand and you have something you want to say, please do that so we can acknowledge you. And then we can close. Anyone can start. No, but don't be shy to be the first person. Anybody can just say something. Okay. So if you have something you want to say, please just indicate by a show of hand, or drop the comments in the session. Sammy Dulox, do you want to say something, or you're just saying thank you?
Good evening, Ma. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I really got something to hold on to tonight. I don't have any questions, but just to appreciate the opportunity you have given to thousands of us, and then the little of us that are making use of the opportunity. I want to say thank you. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much, Sammy, for the kind commendation. I really would wish that as many people would take advantage of this opportunity. Some of us, if we knew what we know now, or if we had this kind of forum, it would have made us, achieve some level of speed quite early. Is there anybody else who wants to say something, or we can close? No questions in the comments. Anybody wants to say a thing or two? If not, I think we can close. Okay, Chima Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate this very opportunity that you have given to us. So, but I want to know, what are some of those freelance companies we can work with in Nigeria here, based on location? What could you recommend? Those ones you've tested and tried, we can actually roll with and earn some good money. If you can throw more light on that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Please don't mute your mic yet. I want to understand freelance companies. Are you talking about freelance platforms where you can exhibit yourself or show your portfolio about the skills you have and the services that you want to offer? Is that a question you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, of course, there are so many of them. In fact, we are working on building one ourselves. I mean, it's going to take some time before it becomes popular, But we have a freelance academy where we're trying to also get people to showcase themselves with the various skills that they offer. But of course, the most popular ones that we use, that Nigerians use a lot, is basically Upwork and Fiverr. And during the skill training, whether it is the data entry or it is the graphic design or the video editing, the resource persons are able to show you how you can create an attractive profile on Upwork, on Fiverr, to begin to promote yourself. But then again, I am one person who, in the course of some of these debates where we discuss about the possibility of putting yourself out there to offer this service, I think that one of the things that I support the freelancers to do is to package themselves, to brand themselves so much that, yes, they can put themselves on Upwork and on Fiverr, but they should not rely only on those platforms. Now, it takes some time after you have acquired this skill, especially if you're a rookie, to be able to start getting jobs, because most of the people who get jobs on those platforms are people who have gotten several other jobs, have done several other. It's just as good as, or as well as good as saying you want to employ somebody to work in a particular role in your company, but you're looking for someone who's experienced, who's done these things a couple times before, so that they can directly bring the value without wasting time or trying to learn how things are done. So when they are rookies and they just learn these skills with us, we recommend, we provide for them guidance, or we provide for you guidance to set up an attractive profile on Fiverr and Upwork. But we also teach you, personally, I teach you on how to utilize WhatsApp, Facebook, email platform to be able to promote your services locally, whilst you are waiting or hoping that you can also find individual businesses or companies who require your services on this freelancing platform. So in summary, our recommendation is to have your profile or your portfolio uploaded on Upwork and on Fiverr, but we also teach you how you can promote and market your services locally, utilizing some of the softwares or some of the social media platforms that we already have. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Richard, let's hear Richard and then we'll close. Richard, go ahead.
All right. So good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Richard.
So basically, I want to know how I can transition from freelancing to starting my own business or agency. Is it possible? And secondly, what are the strategies for scaling my freelance business and taking on more clients?
Absolutely. Of course, the whole idea of freelancing, though not in all cases, is to get you to start. If I have a slogan, I say that freelancing is more or less like encouraging people to start from where they are with what they have. So if you're a freelancer, the big goal should mostly be that you want to transition from your freelancing gigs or your freelancing career into an agency. In fact, I have long ago, like I said, even before I knew what freelancing is, but I still stayed stuck with the freelancing because, again, I feel like as an individual, I like to sort out for a job. But even as a company, I use my company. I have a company called the Consulting Crew. So we use our company to source for job as a business entity, or as even a corporate organization, right? So it's pretty simple. If you have acquired experiences, you have worked for individuals, for small businesses, offering whatever service that you offer, and you've saved enough, you have the resources enough, you think that you can set up an outlet where you can have a staff or two or a team of people who work collectively to provide a uniform service to businesses and corporations, you can naturally metamorphose into setting up a business. So it happens naturally. There's really no one trick or one size fit all. It's basically for you to expand your business plan.
Okay.
As freelancers, you have a simple 1, 2, 3-pager business plan that says you are a video editor and you provide video editing services for anyone who has an event or who wants a personal video, editing consultants and stuff like that. Now you want to provide services for a bigger audience, for a bigger businesses. You have to grow or expand your business plan to grow beyond just you as a personal brand or just you offering the service, to encompass a small business setup or a small business profile and business plan. If you still want to operate as a small business remotely, which most people still do, you still can, because again, it depends on the kind of service that you offer. But your business plan would definitely be a little bigger. if you were probably interacting with small businesses before and now you want to interact with medium businesses or big corporations, then you say so. So some of the components of your business plan will now be targeting a bigger clientele, a larger audience than what your small business is practically, doing. So talking about scaling from freelancing to a small is a natural process. It definitely does happen. But again, I still insist that some people still do, they might be big. You might even have a freelancer who is bigger than a small business. I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of freelancer colleagues who still do not want to have like a boutique setup or like a small office setup where people can come and meet them physically. They are still freelancing in their houses. They still live in their duplex in Lekki or wherever. But they are still offering their freelancing service from there. And they're even a lot bigger than somebody who probably might have an outlet or an office outlet somewhere else. So it still depends on you. But I think that it starts, first of all, by defining what the business scale or the business plan will be. Why do you want to grow it from just a freelancer to a business plan? Do you want to reach more audience? Do you want to now reach out to a bigger type of clientele that you currently are reaching? Do you want to upscale in terms of the kind of pricing? So all of these things will be the component, that forms what your business plan would look like as a small business or medium business, depending on the scale or the size that you want to, grow it into. Then in terms of marketing your freelance, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, that beyond just having I know that many people are doing a lot very well on Upwork, right? But for me, as a local person that I am, even though I work now for a lot more global clientele, but a good majority of the type of clientele that I have had over the years we're not even getting on those platforms. Yes, I have an account. If at some point I abandon it, but I think I have too many clients organically or reaching out to them via email or getting referrals from one of the clients to the other that I don't necessarily need the Fiverr or need a bigger, account. But there are people who are on those platforms who are 1 million times way bigger than I am. But I think that I cannot even exhaust the clientele that I have working, locally. I'm still serving my Nigerian market. So that's one of the things we encourage, that as much as you want to have your portfolio on Fiverr and Upwork, try to also build some marketing platforms or marketing activity that can help you still attract clients locally, because sometimes you can even best service the local clients than you can compete, serving most of these international clients. But I also recognize that serving international clients means more money because they pay you in dollars. And I see a lot of these freelancers on the internet talking about the fact that you get paid in dollars, and that is attraction. That is also good. So if you can scale up your service, get one client, get two, and you get to that point where you can now attract this international clientele, then good and fine. But more directly to answer your question, scaling up from a freelancing business to a small business or having to now have like a fully functional thing happens naturally. You just need to first of all redefine your business plan, and then you can begin to scale. Okay, you want to say something more, Richard?
No, I just want to thank you for answering my question. You were just direct.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, Ido will be the last, and then you will pray for us. I'm sorry we didn't even pray when we started. Ido will be the last, and then we can close. Ido, Babalola, you want to say something? Your hand is up. Oh, you're grumbling with network. It looks like he's grumbling with network. Okay. So I think that we will close from here.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay, so sorry. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. My own take is I so much believe in practical, because the theoretical aspect is so awesome, but it will be better for us to learn from those who are practicing it. Because with that, we can learn from the field, we can actually see for ourselves and experience. Once we see how it is being done, even if it is once or twice, we can easily catch up from there. It's better it's one way to hear, to speak about it, to talk it out, but acting it is also very crucial.
Absolutely.
It helps us to become better when we are approaching the skill and want to take practical aspects of it.
Absolutely.
So from that aspect.
So do you currently have a skill, Ido, or you want to learn a skill?
I currently have one. I'm a video editor.
Awesome.
And I also love the freelancing. I so much appreciate it.
Okay. Do you have any social media platform where you're advertising your products or your service?
Not yet, but I have for my personal self.
Okay. So one of the things that we would do here before the end of this particular class, okay, is to help you to do some personal branding, to position yourself, to be ready to attract the people who need your service using the already existing social media platforms that you have, okay? Now, the guy who's doing something that you're doing, I'm talking about the video editing, for example, since the class is free, and I mean, the only requirement is to pay for certification if you think you need to upskill or to look at what somebody else is doing, will teach you that practical aspect that you're talking about, to set up a profile on Upwork and on Fiverr to help you to begin to project yourself to attract these jobs. And that during that period, the practicality will be implemented. I'm sure that the people who are doing the data entry class can attest that as it stands now, they're already getting a feel of the practical aspect of things. My own job here is to set you up mentally to be ready to do the practicals. Okay. So after these 10 days, the next phase you get into is the practical aspect of it. For those who do not have skill, they will learn the practical skills, and then they can now grow into creating platforms that allows them to actually literally start freelancing. Okay. Yeah. So some elements that I will cover would also do some practicals that will position you to do your personal branding, to start reaching out to people, to tell them about the service that you have, using some of the resources or the platform that we are currently using to even promote the things that we're doing on our own as well. Okay. Okay.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
So everything is embedded in the program, and as we make progress, you will have a feel of all of it, both the theoretical and the practical aspect as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so this is the much that we can take today. I'm going to drop in the quiz in a few minutes in the WhatsApp group. I'm going to expect that you can respond to the quiz. Your answers does not have to be perfect. They don't have to be completely correct. Just tell us what you think. But some of you who are going to copy and paste on the internet, it makes no sense. Do the class, tell us what you think. If it's correct, I tell you it is. If it's not, I tell you to do more research. Don't copy and paste. Don't assume what you do not know. So let's just collaborate and do this and see what we can make, of it at the end of it. So thank you very much, everyone. Do have a good evening. Yeah, thank you so much, Sikirat. Good night, everyone.
Who is laughing like that?
It's my son.
Oh, okay.
All right, good night, everyone.
Good night, madam. Thank you.
Yeah, and done there.